Now, I showed you the prerequisites when we were making that second module, but there's also requirements that we can add inside of this module. And so I'm going to click right here at the top of my module at the name of it. I'm going to click on those 3 dots, and I'm going to click on that edit button. I'm looking for this right here where it says add requirements. Now, I like the requirements. I like to say that students need to do specific things in order to move on. And so I'm going to show you how you can add them. So I'm going to check that students must complete all of these requirements and that they must move through them in sequential order, because I spent a lot of time designing this course and I know what the students need to see. Before we used Canvas at my previous school, we used Moodle, and it didn't have a tool like this. And so my students, you know, they were seniors in high school. They just wanted to take the test. They didn't want to do any of the other stuff. They didn't want to look at my PowerPoint or listen to my lecture or read the article. They wanted to just go to what they had to turn in, which they promptly failed and then asked me why. And so now I can avoid all of that in Canvas by saying, this page right here, Introduction to Pandas, a page is just a way I'm going to deliver content to them, but by gosh, my students have to view that, okay? They can't get to the next thing in the module until they look at it first. The other option you have in Pages, which I like even a little bit better, is Mark as Done. What happens on there, on those pages, because that's just the way I'm going to deliver content to them. That might be an article I need them to read, or it might be a PowerPoint I want them to look at, or it might be a video, is they're going to get a little button that says complete on it. My hope as an instructor is that they think twice before hitting that button. Now, some people won't, right? And they're probably just going to hit the button to move on. But I'm going to actually set that requirement to be Mark as Done.
And is there a way for us to see how much time they've spent on each module?
Yes, and I'll show you that. Yeah. I'm going to click Add Requirement in here. And I have that discussion, so I'm going to add that and say for the discussion, they're going to have to add to that discussion in order to get to the next thing, which is my assignment. And for that essay, I'm going to set that to they can't move on until they submit it. So for things that are graded, like assignments, quizzes, you can have them either submit or you can do score at least. Score at least I thought was an awesome idea when I first started using Canvas. I was teaching a Gothic literature course in the Canvas pilot, and I was like, of course the students need to get a 60% on this quiz in order to move on. But they didn't, you know, and then they would have to contact me because it stops them. If you use score at least, it's going to really stop them and they can't go any further. So I will caution you with score at least. Don't have it for things like essays where you actually have to go in and grade it first because they're going to be frozen. It's a nice tool, but just use it judiciously. A lot of times I'll just use submit so that students actually have to turn something in before they move on. And then I'm going to go ahead and click Update Module. Students are going to see these requirements when they go in. Because I have it set that each one of those pieces has a requirement and they have to do them in sequential order, students in this class wouldn't be able to get to talk about pandas until they look at that Intro to Pandas page first and click that they've completed it. Let me show you in this class. I'm going to go in as a student and show you. I'm going to go in as student view. Show you what it'll look like to a student. So all of your courses do have a student view button. You're going to see it on your home page. Your classes don't look like anything yet, and you don't have anything published, so you won't see anything. But let me show you what this class looks like from that student view. So in this case, the student is able to see everything that they've done. It's checked off for them in their module view. So they've done that intro to the course. They've participated in that discussion. They've done everything up to right here. So this is letting them know that they have to turn something in before they can move on. And what it does to the rest of that module is they can still see the names of everything, but it's grayed out. They can't click on it. Now, if they try to access it from my calendar or the syllabus and to try to get around that, they can't. It gives them a little message that says you cannot complete this until you do, and then it gives them the full list of everything that they need to do first. For me, as the instructor, I have this view progress button then, and this only really means anything if you're using the requirements in modules, but you're going to be able to see for each one of your students who are in your course where they are. So Alan is in progress in this first module. He hasn't done much yet, right? So he still needs to complete those 2 things, and it's going to show for him that the rest of those modules are locked, that he can't get on. He can't move on. But Nan, she's gone a little bit further. All right, so the modules, not only a great organizational tool, but also a way that you can manage the course flow through it. All right, the other thing I want to just show you, I have a slide to show you of it for right now. And I know that some of you are very interested in this idea of mastery paths. So what Mastery Paths is a tool inside of Canvas that you can enable in your courses. And this is a way that you can further personalize your course either with conditional release or choice for your students. So Mastery Paths does require the items to all be in the same module together. The way it works is usually with a graded assignment. It has to work with a graded assignment that kicks it off. A discussion, an assignment, or a quiz. And then based on whatever score the students earn on that, you can create 3 paths that they could potentially move down. So you could use that for differentiation. You could create an advanced, an on-level, and and then a lower level that needs more pieces built in for them. They get more reinforcement. It does require you having a lot of content, which I'm sure a lot of you do because you've been teaching with D2L, because you need to be able to have all those pieces in your course so that you can create those different pathways through the course. The things that can be included in a mastery path are content pages, assignments, quizzes, and then discussions. So you really can have multiple pathways through your course depending on how students demonstrate their knowledge on items. The other way it can be used is for choice. So the example I'm showing here on the screen is and, meaning the students in this path have to complete both of those things. I could also set it to be or, so the students could pick which thing they wanted to do. And so Mastery Paths could be used in that way as well. And we've seen some really awesome use cases of our Canvas users and how they're using it for choice. And that's more like choose your own adventure through my course. They see all the things that are presented to them, and then they pick the one they want to do.
How does the gradebook handle things that are set up as homeworks?
Whichever one the student picks, it excludes them from the other. And it does the same thing with the conditional released assignments. So then it's completely removed from the student view. It's like it doesn't even exist. Doesn't show to them in the modules view, doesn't show to them in their grades, and it gets excluded for you in your grade book. So Canvas handles all of that.
And then do the point values have to level out, or is that up to the instructor?
It's up to the instructor. Some people, that's just how they are. They have to make it be that way. But other people, doesn't matter. Yeah, because whatever the student is assigned to is what the grade book will figure out their grade for them. So we can spend more time talking about Mastery Paths at the end of today if it's something you're really, really interested in. That could be something that we touch on after the main session today.